Hi everyone, it's me, Sisonke. I am so sad that I am not able to be there with you all celebrating this incredible collection of the most badass voices that are out there on the continent. This anthology and this collection stands the way that it does. It is the embodiment of the man in whose honor we meet today and whose name this anthology has been put together. I only met Gerald once in my life, and it was close to the end of his own life. And we knew many people in common, and everyone kept saying to me, "You've got to meet him."
In the memory and person and life of Gerald Kraak, we had an incredible citizen of the world, deeply committed to a more socially just world. But he also understood that social justice is not just a vision, it's not just an idea, a norm. Social justice fundamentally is about getting your hands dirty. That means funding projects that are sustainable, that are feasible, that can make a demonstrable difference to the communities that are on the margins of society. And those of us who were fortunate enough to have met Gerald, I didn't know him very well, but I have met him, are well aware of his legacy.
So the opportunity to do this anthology and to think about and read all of these words by people who represent a huge segment of the population who Harold spent his whole life fighting for was too good to pass up. When we sat down to look at the many entries, many of them which were fantastic to read, I had no idea that we would end up with such a strong and varied collection.
The entries for the anthology were of a very high quality, and as a judging panel, we had a wonderful challenge to sift through such incredibly high quality work. It was a very difficult process for a number of reasons. Some of it, for those who are artists, will be of nerdish interest. Comparing apples with pears. How do you compare an entry of a photographer with someone who is a fiction writer? How do you compare a work of fiction in turn with a piece of journalism that is narrative non-fiction? So one of the difficulties for us were the impossibility of coming up with a fair way of comparing entries that speak to different forms of art.
It was incredible to work with the writers who took on our comments and our questions with a real rigor, with a real humility, and with a real seriousness. Because ultimately that is what the craft of writing is about.
I think the final anthology is one which we are enormously proud of, and which I think is a brilliant first anthology in the memory of someone who cared deeply about questions of injustice, about questions of particularly the LGBTI community's entitlement to be treated with dignity and with equality. And I hope that it will be well received.